Thanks and welcome story. Insecurity dragnet for assaulting passengers of knives and several telephones. And civil society organizations are advocating for more protective laws for defenders of human rights. These organizations have been working since 2000. Women choke with their workload. Check us on our respective platforms on Canal International. We begin from Yaoundé, where 3 persons involved in attacks and assaults have recognized them as their assaulters. Beatrice Ngamo reports that they were presented to the press this day.
It was during one individuals on board their taxi. This was on the night of March 29, 2025, around Rond-Point Express under Yaoundé 6 subdivision. They were in possession of several telephones and dagger. For the investigation on them revealed they were taxi robbers, and 5 victims have recognized them as their assaulters. Their modus operandi, well orchestrated. With passengers on board their yellow cab, they surrendered them, forcing them to hand all in their possession with a knife. This victim narrates it was at around 10 p.m. that she boarded the taxi, proposing 400 francs for derrière usine by tous. Arriving around education, the drama started. Big man sitting in front with the driver bent the cabin seat. That frightened me, especially as he had a great knife with him. It is then that she realized that the taxi did not pick any passenger along the way. At that point, they said they are out for nothing but money, that she should give them money. Unfortunately, she had no money but her fare. They covered my head and I was not seeing where we were going. Started hitting my head, held my locks, saying, if I joke, he will mark on me, my finger. They then took her phone and abandoned her at Dakar Amba around the rails. The 3 alleged assaulters presented the press in Yaoundé April 8 will have to face justice for the crimes committed.
And we stay with you, Beatrice Ngamo. This time you are taking us around the Luatu village, that is in the Cliquez division of the Central region, where the people of Luatu village are living in fear following the desecration of a tomb of a man who died some 2 years ago. And so this sacrilegious act has plunged the village in total confusion. Beatrice.
A sunny Sunday morning in Luatu, near Obala, in the Cliquez division of the Central region, the apparent calm contrasts to the unease that has been brewing in the village. For a week, residents have been living in a state of anxiety following the desecration of a tomb of one Ewolo Ekani, buried 2 years ago by unknown individuals. This act, with unclear motives, was discovered by a teenager who rushed and informed the grandmother. The stench emanating from the grave have been fouling the air in the area. A nearby public primary school with infants have suffered the case.
Le mardi, là, il y avait des odeurs abondantes partout. Jusqu'à même les enfants ne pouvaient même pas aller entrer en brousse pour chercher des mangues.
Gendarmerie was alerted and arrived the scene. The deceased son was taken into custody for 2 days for questioning and was released after bail. When he returned home, he found his room in the father's house has been burglarized and a machete has been left at the premises, seemingly as a message.
Arrivé, j'ai trouvé ma porte cassée.
The villagers in Luatu, like deceased sons, are living in fear and uncertainty, for this is the first of its kind, desecration of a tomb in that village.
Il faut que vraiment, moi je compte sur la gendarmerie de notre pays et que la justice soit faite. Je vous dis et je vous rappelle, la jeunesse de ce village condamne fermement cet acte.
Papa a eu à me laisser une maison. Je suis devenu un arabe.
The investigation is ongoing, and until it yields results, uncertainty has taken hold of the population.
Well, thanks very much, Patrice Ngamu. And Cameroon is one of the few countries in the Central African sub-region where a law to protect defenders of women's rights is not being implemented. The law, which many have been advocating since 2021, is a crucial one for the safety and protection of those protecting vulnerable persons. And Morindi is reporting that they are pushing for a bill in Parliament.
Cameroon is one of the few countries in Central Africa without a law for the protection of defenders.
This is a bill, or I can say a proposal of a law that defenders of human rights are trying to push forward because they believe or they estimate that they are not protected. So they want this law to go through Parliament so that at least it can promote human rights, it can protect them as human rights defenders. So if it is not being passed or being heard in Parliament today, I think we should question our parliamentarians or the senators that what are they doing.
But since now we don't have any response concerning it.
Many times when there are violations of human rights, at times we are confronted with a situation where we don't know where to go or how to approach the problem. In that law, they will tell you what is your role as a human rights defender and what are your obligations as a human rights defender.
This is a law that the Collective of Women for the Protection of Environments and Children has been advocating for since 2021.
The law is for the women rights defenders law.
It's a bad will of the government or bad will of Parliament that does not want that maybe human rights defenders should have any legal instrument where they can rely on or have it as a backup.
That's why we have called many people to come and accompany us to do that advocacy.
Advocacy, experts say, is crucial for the adoption of such a law, a proposal that has been put forward by civil society organizations.
Because we know that in Central Africa, more than 3 countries have almost get their own. Yes. So we know that every country will adopt it in his context. So we hope that Cameroon is doing it in his context.
To continue their efforts, the Collective of Women for the Protection of the Environment and Children organized a session in Douala, April 8, 2025, to discuss how to push forward the advocacy and address the challenges faced by defenders.
And one of Cameroon's industrial giants, Prometheus Group, has taken a significant step to secure stable energy supply and increase its production capacity. A landmark 50 MVA transformer access contract was signed on April 7 this year between the energy transportation company Sonatrel and Prometheus. And of course, this marking a key development in addressing energy challenges that are faced by industries. Gladys Ambo-Diban was part of that contract signing.
To secure a stable and reliable energy supply for its operations, Prometheus Group, the second largest energy consumer in Cameroon, has signed an access contract with Sonatrel, the national electricity transmission company. The deal, expected to reduce Prometheus' reliance on the electricity distribution company, provides the industrial giant with an additional 50 MVA transformer dedicated to boosting energy supply and production capacity.
This is a milestone in this company who will have now enough energy because it was formerly supplied by Eneo in a low voltage. Now it will be supplied in high voltage.
A move which experts say does not seem to resolve the energy deficit needs of households and enterprises.
Prometheus will no more have shortage of energy in its industry. That's fine for Prometheus, but for the rest of the clients, it's a problem. It's a problem because the energy absorbed by Prometheus will lack in the network, and at that time, we will compensate. The problem with that convention is that it is not a convention for a new infrastructure. It's a convention to exploit and consume what is already existing. And at that time, it does not help the household.
Nous venons d'achever le barrage Nachtigal.
We have completed the Nachtigal Dam, which is meant to supply 420 megawatts to the southern grid. But due to system and transmission losses, we receive only 300 to 360 megawatts. Connecting Prometal as a signatory client has little impact. Strengthening the 220 kilovolt and 400 kilovolt transmission lines under construction and improving distribution quality remain essential.
Despite claims that the country generates enough energy, inefficiencies in integrating this power into the national grid have led to persistent instability in supply for both households and businesses. Yet, government plans to interconnect its electricity grid with neighboring Chad and other countries within the CEMAC sub-region.
Amara Stiban reporting there. And varsity officials and recent artificial intelligence report from Yaoundé.